I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
Sylvester Stallone brings back that grizzled, PTSD-fueled Vietnam veteran John Rambo for another outing. And this time, there's no military background. We're looking at a warrior in winter. It is a story about what does Rambo do when there is no war to fight. Well, he goes home, he starts something resembling a family, and tries to move on with his life. Really think that's going to happen? Absolutely not. This is the world of John Rambo, and there is blood to be shed. Now, this is an interesting movie because Stallone is doing something very different. I believe he's made a Rambo film for himself and not for the audience. And I feel that after 4 outings as the character doing practically the same movie and over again, he deserves it. Now, everything that helps this movie also kind of hurts it. Rambo has more dialogue in this film than he has in the entire saga put together. It gives his character some really cool layers, and it's really cool to see him be a man, but at the same time, really takes away from all the splash gore and the blood that is supposed to be delivered in a Rambo film. Is it slow? Is the movie uneven? Yeah, it is, but it could also be seen as a meditation on the character. A man who is raging with war deep inside, what does he do when there's no war to fight? Well, like I said, something comes along and changes all that. Let's just get down to the brass tacks here. The movie's fun because you don't really expect it to be anything but that. Rambo's less of a movie than more of a wind-up toy. And the movie delivers when it's time to deliver, but it really does take a long time. Stallone asks a whole lot of the Rambo audience this time around.
I've lived in a world of death. I've watched people I've loved die.
One thing about the Rambo movies that was always kind of interesting was that the villains were they weren't very complex or anything, but there was something to bite into. Here you get real bad carbon, sort of boring cookie cutter villains that are evil for the sake of being evil. I mean, like I said, the whole movie is really just an excuse to get to the blood and gore, except for the cool stuff they do with, like Stallone. I'll talk about Stallone a little bit more in this one. There's a lot more smolder and a lot less smelting, and I mean, every shot of John Rambo is an extreme close-up, and Stallone's gravelly voice. I'll tell you this, John Rambo's never been scarier. And they really missed an opportunity here where they could have had a lot of fun with Rambo, the protective father, because he does take in a niece, and she does start to meet boys and get involved in parties and all this stuff. It would have been so great to have a boyfriend come up to the ranch and just see Rambo sitting in his rocking chair polishing a friggin' sawed-off shotgun. But they don't do that. They missed an opportunity. There's no humor to be had here. This is a dark, grisly story. The story's very rote, though. It's a basic revenge tale that you could find on Cinemax anytime late at night, among other things. But it's all I guess you really need to wind Rambo up and let him go. And the very first sort of Rambo thing that he does in this movie is a brutal torture inflicted on somebody to get information. Our whole audience was screaming, but you're screaming with that sort of roller coaster fun. And if you've seen the trailer, you know that the ending is really no more than a super bloody spiritual successor to Home Alone, and that really is worth the price of admission alone. Watching Rambo set up his ranch for when the bad guys arrive and the booby traps go off is bloody brilliance. So much fun. In closing, Rambo Last Blood. That's a misnomer here, folks. I can tell you right off the bat, this character has more to do. There's going to be unfinished business. This is about the last blood as much as Friday the 13th, the last chapter was. Anyways, if you want your Rambo, go check it out. I think it's fun. You could also wait for it on Blu-ray. I'm going to give it sort of a half recommend. It's a good way to spend 88 minutes, because this movie hauls ass. Anyways, thank you guys for checking in. As always, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this final season of Walking Out of a Movie. And the next time you see me, I'll be putting on a happy face.